Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchies Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis, Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchies is the place. Torchies' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory, or any of the great college games across the country. Torchies has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. With TVs on the patio or in the restaurant, you will never miss a minute of the action this season. Torchies has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas.
And everybody, welcome to a Thursday, October 3rd edition of the Arkansas Football Report. I'm Jason Pattison with Otis Kirk here. And, you know, good evening, Razorback Nation. I'm telling you, it was a tough week last week, but welcome to the Football Report. We are live here at Torchies Tacos in Rogers, as we are every Thursday evening. And a huge thank you to Marcus, Layton, and the rest of the crew for their great hospitality they show us every week. You can also click the like and subscribe button to the on the bottom right corner of the screen here on the YouTube channel, and you can catch all of the shows, live or past shows from Otis, Dudley, Kevin, and now Marshall. Be sure to stop by either of the 2 Torchies locations here in Rogers or in Fayetteville in Northwest Arkansas, which happens to be, Otis, the only 2 locations in the state of Arkansas.
All right.
Try their queso that is made in-house fresh daily. Holy cow. With the taco of the month, which happens to be a new one this week, or this month, I should say. And here is that. It's the Baja salmon taco, blackened salmon with cooked cabbage slaw, pickled onions, jalapenos, avocado slice with a little bit of cojita, poblano ranch, and cilantro on a corn tortilla with a lime wedge on the side. So be sure to come in and experience one of that taco or any of the great tacos they have on their menu that will open your taste buds to a whole new world. Also, if you're heading to the Reynolds Razorback Stadium on Saturday for the Tennessee game, stop by for some damn good tacos and come see Marshall and I, as we will be live in the Fayetteville location 2 hours before kickoff, which happens to be at 4:30, which is right down the street from Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So be sure to follow Hogville on Twitter and Facebook. Plus, you can find all of our content on hogville.net, where it's always free. So, Otis.
Yeah.
You were down in Dallas last week.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's kind of unpack that a little bit, because there was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly, and it looked like it was going to start off real well with an Isaac Taslaw sighting.
Yeah, that third play of the game set the tone. I was hoping, but it didn't set the tone. It just, but it did. It was a great play by Isaac. He got behind him, and but Taylen hit him right in stride, man. A perfect throw. Couldn't have been thrown any better. The route couldn't have been. They couldn't have run the route any better. It was just a perfect play. Unfortunately, they didn't have very many of those in the game. But Arkansas is 3-2 right now.
Yeah,
and that's exactly where I had them in preseason when I predicted 8 wins. Now, I did have them beating Tennessee, and Tennessee's a lot better than I thought they were. I had them beating Oklahoma State and losing to Auburn. Now, in preseason, of course, they reversed those, so it still kept me on track. But Tennessee's a lot better than I thought they were. I've still got them beating LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Louisiana Tech. I'm hoping that Tennessee's better than I thought they were, but it looks like Missouri might. It's going to be interesting, Missouri and A&M tomorrow, Jason. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm thinking Missouri may not be as good as I thought they were, so because that's a loss I had them, and if Arkansas can make it up. But the thing of it is, Josh Heupel was right. Arkansas's 2 plays away from being 5-0.
Yeah,
but they've got to play a clean game. And look, if they play a clean game, they can play with anybody. But what makes me think they're going to play a clean game when they haven't? So it's disappointing that 3 turnovers, 10 penalties. Just disappointing that they're beating themselves in these games, Jason. They should have beaten what I've said. They should be 4-1 and could be 5-0. They should have beaten Oklahoma State. I said that at the time. People thought I was crazy because Oklahoma State was number 16 in the country. I was not impressed with Oklahoma State then, and I'm still not impressed with them. I'm not surprised they've lost some games. I just wasn't impressed with them, and that's why I predicted Arkansas would beat them by 2 touchdowns. They should be 4-1 and could be 5-0 right now, but they're not. They're 3-2, and but they've still got a chance for a decent season. But they've got to clean up those turnovers and penalties. If they don't, it's going to be a disappointing season. It's just you can't keep giving the ball away, Jason. You just can't do it. I mean, it's frustrating, and I know Taylen's running for his life, but they've got to figure out a way to. There's some ways to stop some of that when they're pinning their ears and coming after you. There's some ways of offsetting some of that. Quick routes, screen passes, running plays. There's some things they can do that they're not doing, and I hope they clean that up this week. And it's going to be an interesting. I mean, look, I picked Tennessee this week, 31-21, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But if Arkansas played a clean game, I think they can play with Tennessee. But I'm not sure they'll play. If they 3 turnovers and 10 penalties tomorrow, it'll get ugly. It will get ugly. Tennessee's better than Oklahoma. I mean, they are better than Oklahoma, but Tennessee's better than Texas A&M. Tennessee's the best team Arkansas has played, and they've got, to try to play a clean game tomorrow night. Or, I'm sorry, Saturday night.
Yeah.
This is not Friday, is it?
Also,
I'm trying to move it up, people. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my damnedest to move this thing up. But Saturday night, knock me in the head next time I say tomorrow night, Jay. But no, Arkansas has got to play a clean game. If they do, I'd see everybody saying it's going to be a blowout. But if they were 5-0, people wouldn't be saying that. And Arkansas could be 5-0. They really could. I mean, just you take away that fumble at the 10-yard line the other day, I'm not sure A&M beats them.
Yeah,
take away that fumble too. In Oklahoma State, God, I could go back and kick one of those field goals. Isaac, Isaiah Sustana doesn't get blocked into it, doesn't fumble that punt. They don't. There's so many plays in Oklahoma State game. Make one of those field goals. I mean, there's a million ways they could have won that game. But I really believe the other day, if they don't fumble at the 10-yard line, that would have been an interesting game. And that's why if they were 5-0 right now, nobody would be saying it's going to be a blowout. So I'm just not convinced it's going to be a blowout. Now, like I said, if Arkansas is generous Saturday night and turns the ball over and those interceptions and fumbles, it's going to get ugly. It will be a blowout.
This up here real quick. So, also make sure key to Razorback victory score predictions trivia. We're going to do that here in just a little bit. Yeah. But as the show goes on, I also want you to throw up your score predictions. We'll go over those as well. We'll talk a little bit about the predictions and also the game story or the prediction story that I wrote this week a little bit later on, as well as we cover the rest of the SEC. So let's bring this back to square one for just a few moments, because there's been a lot of talk. I mean, Sam said it on Monday. Taylen doesn't have a lot of confidence right now, and you could see him losing that confidence as the game progressed towards the end, because the Taylen Green that stepped on the field in the first possession and the Taylen Green that stepped on the field in the last possession weren't two different people, but I can tell you that it looked like almost two different quarterbacks, because it wasn't because he was running for his life. It was because the fact, or
Part of it was.
well, it was because he was running for his life. But what I meant to say was, it was because it wasn't because they were trying to shift the pocket for him.
Yeah.
He was having to shift because of the pocket breaking down, and that's one of the things. I'm not going to call out any specific players. I'm going to call out specific sides. But I'm not going to specifically call out a player, because I don't think that's right, because I've never played college football myself. And I'm not going to sit there and play the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But I am going to say this is what we saw. And whenever you have play side breaking down, Otis, time and time again, right side, left side, it didn't matter. There was a scheme that I want to go over in a few minutes, what I saw A&M do that I think we're going to see Tennessee try. But Taylen has got to be able to understand that just because you don't see it at that moment doesn't mean you can't trust it. Yeah. And I think that's one of the problems he has right now.
Who would have thought in year 5, this is Sam's 5th year.
Yeah.
Who would have thought in year 5, one of the problems with the football team was the offensive line?
Yeah.
I think when Sam was hired, we all assumed that they'd have a very good offensive line. They may not have anything else, but they have a very good offensive line. And that has been an issue 2 years in a row. Really longer than that, but the last 2 years it's been, last year and this season, it's just been horrendous, and you just wouldn't think that with Sam Pittman being, and he spent, somebody asked me the other day, they said, I thought Sam was spending all this time with the offensive line in practice. We haven't been there since the season started, but he did, in preseason in the summer, he did spend a lot of time down there with the offensive line working with them. That's not some kind of PR. He really did. And who thought in year 5 this would be one of the issues with the team? It blows my mind. I really thought, if nothing else, Sam would have a very good offensive line while he was at Arkansas.
Well, and that's been some of the knock too, because whenever he stepped foot on campus, everybody pointed to the offensive lines that he had with Brett Bielema.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things. That was one of the expectations that I feel like a lot of fans have been left wanting, because it looked okay first couple of years, started to take a downtrodden in the third season, and then the last 2 years now it seems like, okay, last year was a complete mess. This year is not so much of a complete mess, but we thought that he would be able to turn it around and make it look a lot better, him and Mateos both, with the guys that they got from the portal, with Addison Nichols and Isaiah
Fernando Carmona, and Keyshawn Blackstock.
And Keyshawn.
Well, the run blocking is a lot better this year. I hear people saying this is the worst offensive, or it's as bad as it was last year. No, it's not, because the run block, you got to understand, what they ran for 8 or 9 touchdowns all last year. They could not run the football, people, and they can run the football this year. They're not running as much as they should.
Jaquindon's got 9 so far through the season.
Yeah.
He is top 3 in rushing yards in the SEC.
They're running the football. They're not running as much as I want them to run it, but they can run the football. I wish Bobby would call more running plays and screen passes and quick hitting shots.
Yeah,
just dropping back and just passing. It's when they're pinning their ears and coming after the quarterback. Run some screens. They ran one at A&M and it worked great. I just want to see more screens, more quick hits, and run the footballs more, man. I mean, you got to slow that rush down. And when they're just pinning their ears and coming after the quarterback, and you just keep throwing the ball every down, it's you're playing right into their hands.
So this is what I noticed from Saturday. You were there. I was at home. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I saw Mike Elko do defensively and schematically against the Arkansas line, which I think we're going to see again this weekend with Tennessee. What they were doing is that they were loading up on opposite side of the running back and that was where their main blitz was. Yeah. So that way it was pulling Jaquindon, whoever it happens to be, Rodney Hill, Braylon Russell, whoever it happens to be. So they were taking them out of their spot. Say, for instance, they lined up on the right side of Taylen, right?
Yeah.
Pressure was coming from the left. He switches over to the left. Now, what's been happening is the guys on the right have been doing twists, and Blackstock and Braun have had a hard time with, and I should have stuck with not making names there, but they were having a hard time with the twists. So whenever the twist came, the tackle was crashing in. They were double teaming. Running back is now out of place, and it's given that end a free run. That happened a lot. We're going to see that again this week.
Yeah, you'll see it. And here's the thing. I mean, there's ways you can counter that stuff with plays, and there's things to counter it with. Bobby's too good an offensive coordinator to not counter it. And, I want to see Arkansas really make some adjustments this week. And it's time to play your strength. Don't worry about what Tennessee's doing or what A&M did. Play your strength.
Yeah.
There's ways to offset it. Anything they do, there's ways to offset it. If you know now, you should know what's coming. And if you do, there's no reason for not being able to adjust to it. So, but you've got to run the ball more, and you've got to. I love screen passes when they're pinning their ears and coming after the quarterback. But it's easy to say the quarterback's lost his confidence, and I know Sam said that.
Yeah.
But the whole offensive line is one of the reasons, man. I mean, they're not protecting it. He's been pressured 80 times this season. That's the most pressures of anybody in the country, any quarterback in the country. He's getting pressured more than any quarterback in the country. And, you've got to do some things to offset that and take some of the pressure off of him.
He's he's also third in the SEC in passing yards. Third.
Yeah.
After all of this, and Andrew Armstrong is in the top 3 in reception.
And that's without playing the UAPB game where he would have caught God knows how many passes in the first day. I'd like to see him start Andrew Armstrong, Isaac Slay, and Isaiah Satina at receiver.
Yeah.
Let Tyrone Broden come off the bench. I think Isaac has outplayed him, and they continue to start Tyrone, and they're playing him a lot. And I'd like to see Armstrong, Satina, and Tesla get more. Slay get more. Tesla, Isaac getting more chances. Or Isaac. Because Isaiah Satina and Andrew Armstrong are getting chances. But I'd like to see Isaac get a few more. He's made some plays. Yeah. He will continue to make them. And I haven't seen Tyrone make that many plays. And not calling him out, but I'm just telling you what I've seen. And, I'm not the coach, and I'm not the one that makes the lineup. But Rodney Hill is out. If anybody didn't see my story this morning or check last night with the injury report, Rodney Hill is out of the game. I don't know what's wrong. We didn't get an update from Sam on that. That's the thing. Those reports come out Wednesday night, and we don't get to talk to Sam again until after the game. So it's kind of a messed up deal, but it is what it is. But Rodney Hill's out. Rashad Johnson is back, and I think you will see he has 3 carries for 15 yards this year. I think he caught 1 pass for 5 maybe. I think you'll see Rashad Johnson get some touches this weekend, more carries. Braylon Russell, and, of course, Jaquindon Jackson. But I think you're going to see Rashad. A lot of people have been telling me they want to see Rashad play. Well, you're going to get your chance this weekend, unless I'm badly mistaken. You're going to see Dominion get some touches and get to play a lot more. So we'll see how this works out. But, you may even see Tyrell Reed a little bit, with the
that could work out in Arkansas's favor because, let's after Saturday, halfway through the football season already.
Amazing.
And
doesn't even seem possible.
I know it's flown by, and that's what happens when you don't have a bye week through the first 6 games. It kind of just runs by. But now things are going to kind of leg themselves out a little bit where, you've got a bye week after this week before you host LSU, and then you got a bye week before Tennessee, Texas. And wrong orange there. But going into this game, if you've got a fresh back or two that you can use, I think that's really going to help because personally, I would love to see Bobby pound the ball 30, 35 times between the tackles, outside of the tackles, to soften that defense up if they're able to. Because let's listen, Arkansas's strength on the defense is the front 7. Now, the DBs they're starting to come along a lot more. If I'm not mistaken, we might see some Hudson Clark this weekend. Jalen Braxton is out.
Yeah.
And Nico Imaeleva is going to be trying to air raid. He's going to try to throw it 30, 40 times. Test that defense.
I just hope Hudson Clark doesn't take TJ Metcalf's minutes. Is what I'm hoping. I just hope that Tui's listed behind on the depth chart, and I just hope he doesn't take away a lot of TJ Metcalf's minutes, because TJ is the best defensive back they've got, especially with Braxton out. And man, he's been out since Oklahoma State. That was a game where they thought he'd be back for the Auburn game. He's still not back. This is crazy. I don't know. He's been so long since he got hurt. I don't remember what he was now. I really don't. I don't remember what happened to Jalen over at Oklahoma State. I know he got hurt in that game, and we haven't seen him since. But, Keon missed that tackle start the game Saturday, and that really just stung him big time. He let the guy go for a touchdown. But Singletary and Marquise Robinson have played decent, so we'll see how they do. The defense has held up pretty much. I mean, they haven't been perfect, but they're not going to be perfect. But they played well enough to win, especially Saturday. They played well enough to win. The offense let them down. But I know Bobby Petrino is a very good offensive coordinator, and I never count him out. And if he gets this thing fixed this week, watch out, because I'm telling you, I don't think Tennessee's unbeatable. I don't think Arkansas will beat them.
Oh,
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but they only beat Oklahoma 30-15. They haven't trailed all year, but I don't think Oklahoma's that good. I think Arkansas would beat them. I wish they were playing them this year. Oklahoma wants to come over here and recruit. I'd love to see Arkansas play them this year, but I don't think Oklahoma could beat Arkansas. But I'd like to see Arkansas play a perfect game to see what they could do against Tennessee. I'd really love to see that. They've got to get some pressure on Nico. They've got to pressure him. They didn't really pressure Reed very much. They did some. Landon Jackson had by far his best game of the season.
Yes.
He did get some pressure on Marcel, but he need more of that. Nico and Eric Gregory and Kim Ball, Landon, Quincy Rose, and those guys, Kiwi Rose. See them step up this game. See what happens.
Yep. So I want to touch on this before we go to a quick break. Arkansas now has had the defensive SEC Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. You had TJ Metcalf 2 weeks ago. Now you've got Landon Jackson. He had a hell of a game. We finally saw some of the potential that Landon has and what kind of destruction he could do to an offense single-handedly. And I think he's going to get another chance to prove that, what he can do against a top-flight offense with Tennessee. And I think at this point, Josh Heupel has got to be able to game plan individually for him. Arkansas finally has a defensive player that you have to single out and say, this is who we have to stop this week, because if we don't, we're not going to be successful. I know that folks might think that that's a stretch, but I don't think it is after what we saw last week.
No, I'm just wondering if he wasn't hurt earlier in the season. There was a rumor before the Oklahoma State game that he was hurt and wouldn't play. Turned out he played. But I'm just wondering if he wasn't hurt. See, we didn't get the injury report back then because it wasn't a conference game. So I'm just wondering if he wasn't battling injuries earlier in the season, and he's not now. He sure looked good Saturday down there, and that's what they need, that kind of Landon Jackson. You get Kim Ball going, you get,
Andrew Fart, Kiwi Rose, those guys.
Nico, Nico hit Nico. So, but.
Some Nico on Nico.
Yeah. I'm looking for a pretty good game Saturday night. We'll see. But Arkansas's got to play clean. If they don't, it could get ugly. I mean, it could get real. And look, they may play a clean game and it still get ugly. I don't know. Tennessee's good. They're legit. But Arkansas is a good team too. It's just not. They got to quit beating themselves, man.
Yeah. So make sure to throw up those score predictions. Also, at the end of the show, I will go over the winner of the $25 gift certificate to Torchies Tacos. For the score prediction from last Saturday, I'll put that tweet up for this weekend tomorrow morning. First thing, I'll pin that on the Hogville's Twitter page. So you have to go on and submit your score, and also like the Twitter page as well, so that way that you can qualify to win a $25 gift certificate here to Torchies Tacos with either locations here in Rogers or Fayetteville. All right, Otis, we're going to take a quick break here for just a moment, and we will be back. This is the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, live here at Rogers and Torchies. And everybody, welcome back to the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Jason Patterson. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We're here at Torchies Tacos in Rogers. And make sure to go by and check out any of the two locations here in Rogers or Fayetteville. This is their taco of the month. If you like salmon, they got the Baja Salmon Taco. So you guys can stop in at any time and try this one or any of the great tacos that they have on their menu and open your taste buds to a whole new world. Make sure to try out the house-made queso and also the full-service bar. And you got a bank of TVs back here, Otis. So if you got a game you want to watch, by God, they're going to have it on there for you.
Yeah. I catch myself looking every once in a while, but I guess there's an NFL game tonight.
Yeah.
I know the baseball, the Yankees play Saturday. I think it's their first game. Play the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
We'll see how that turns out. But it's going to be an interesting Saturday. It's like play tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that now. I mean, exhibition games, you can't really tell much because you don't know how much Anthony Davis and LeBron will play tomorrow night or any exhibition game. But I'm just looking forward to seeing them play. I love to see them win or lose, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And, this is honestly, whenever you roll into October, you have so much going on. You've got college football, NFL, you've got baseball that's starting to wind down. You've got NBA that's starting to wind up, college basketball that's starting to wind up. Yeah. You got to check out all of Kevin's great stuff that he has on Calipari and the Hogs. I wonder if we're going to see a Slobbering Hog debut on the court, because I saw that where the athletic department had teased that a little bit. And Hunter Yurachek came out and said, hey, I got a matching $500,000 donation. If you're able to, if fans are able to at least match that or try to match, I don't think it was match that the Slobbering Hog would be on the court. I have a feeling there's a possibility it might be on there anyway, but nonetheless, we'll have to see where that goes.
I'll pull out my pocket change and donate that $500,000. Pocket change, no problem.
I know. I got that stored in my back pocket back there.
It's my back pocket.
Get your
I'll get it out
check.
in a few minutes. Call Hunter and give it to him.
Also, the QR code that's been sitting up there in the top right-hand corner of the screen, that is a direct link to the Torchies Tacos website. So you can go on there, order some great food or some merchandise, and go on any of the Torchies locations and get some great food. So let's talk about the Tennessee offense for just a few minutes. We've mentioned Nico Imeleva, and what are some of the keys that Arkansas is going to have to do? Because I know you're going to be putting that story out tomorrow morning. What can help get them over that edge, finish for once?
Well, if you're talking about defensively, I think the biggest thing is you got to pressure. You can't let Nico just be able to read a book back there like the Oklahoma State quarterback was, Alan Bowman. Yeah. You've got to put some pressure on him, force his hand. Limit the running back. They've got a very good tailback. You were talking about him earlier. I think before we went on the air, but he's very good. Sam says he's bad to the bone, bad guy. Their tailback is really good. You've got to limit him. But Arkansas's done a pretty good job. I mean, they limited Oklahoma State running back and Auburn running back. They limited him. So they've done a good job of holding down these running backs, and they've got to continue that tomorrow night or Saturday night. I'm sorry, but Nico. It's got to get some pressure. Kid's a freshman. He's playing on. I know they played at OU. I get that, but he's hasn't been pressured that much. I'd love to see him get some pressure on him. Yeah. The Hogs. I think Arkansas somehow or another needs to force some turnovers. Jason, they need to make Nico uncomfortable back there at quarterback. And Arkansas needs to force some turnovers. It kind of goes hand in hand, though. Get some pressure, you'll probably get some turnovers. But I think that's the key. A lot of teams no one's really been able to do that to Tennessee yet. But that's what you've got to do. Yeah, Dylan Samson's running back, and, of course, Nico, the quarterback. But I'd like to see them hold Samson down and then pressure Nico and force his hand a little bit. Yep. Just don't let him get comfortable, man. I mean, that's the key. And I'd love to see that, but we'll see how this all plays out, man.
I think that the key to the Arkansas offense is moving the pocket for Taylen. He's a 60%. I think it was 60% on the move as far as completions go, 50% while he's sitting in the pocket. Well, and he doesn't feel comfortable back there.
No, I think one thing Arkansas just got to mix up the play calling, maybe run when they think it's going to be a pass when they think it's going to be a run. I think Arkansas's got to mix up the play calling. Bobby's very capable of that.
Yeah.
I just think they've got to do some things to keep the pressure off of Taylen as much as possible, and there's ways of doing that. And I didn't think they did a very good job of that in Arlington last weekend. I felt like they just kept playing into A&M's hands. When they're pinning their ears and coming after the quarterback, you've got to do some things, man. Quick hitting passes, run the ball, screen passes. I'd really love to see more screen passes when they're doing that. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, Bobby's forgotten more about football than I will ever know.
Yeah.
And I'm not questioning them on their play calling. I'm just saying that there's things to do that they, for whatever reason, they haven't really done as much of it. But we'll see. I mean, there's a chance that we'll see. But no matter what coach calls, you've got to execute it, you know, and you've got to do a better job. You've got to hold on to the football too, man. I'm telling you, that fumble at the 10-yard line the other day was an absolute killer. It was an absolute killer. I'm just telling you, man. And I don't know that A&M would have won that game without that. Even if Arkansas playing like they did, if they hadn't fumbled there at the 10, I'm not sure A&M would have won that ball game. So we'll see how all that plays out. But just protect the football, man. I mean, it's not asking to it. And don't have 10 penalties, you know. But I just hope that they do a little bit better job of just not turning the ball over this weekend.
Arkansas defense has been pretty opportunistic the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, defense has played well enough.
They've been getting turnovers too.
Yeah, they didn't get any last week, I don't think, but they did at Auburn, and they've started getting more pressure on the quarterback. Landon, we talked about Landon had a good game.
Yeah.
They're playing better. The defense is giving them a chance. The offense just hasn't done it, but they've got to stop turning the ball over. I know I've said that a million times tonight, and look, it'll be number one on my 5 keys tomorrow will be stop turning the damn ball over. I mean, But till they do, they're not. I mean, they're beating themselves, people. It's not like I said. If Arkansas was 5-0 and Tennessee was 4-0, it'd be getting national attention. This game would be, and it'd be all lights out, and nobody'd be predicting a blowout. But and we know that they haven't done that, and they're not 5-0. They're 3-2. But Arkansas is beating themselves. It's not like they just lined up and they sucked. They've beaten themselves both games. They could be They should be 4-1 and could be 5-0. I mean, that's just the way it is. People probably get mad when I say, I don't care. Hi, bye-bye, sweetie. See you later. But I mean, it's just, that's the key with this thing, man.
It is. And I want to kind of look at a general synopsis, kind of an overview of kind of what we've seen so far with the offense. We know that they can run with the power, with Jaquindon and also with Braylon. And a little bit of Rodney Hill, which we won't see because he's out this game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Jaquindon's been in and out of the lineup, so he's probably not going to be able to carry it 30 times or something. You don't really need him to do that. But Braylon get a few more carries. And then, he moves the ball. When he runs the ball, he moves it. He's a big kid and can withstand some of that. And we'll see Rashad. I think Rashad's, he hadn't been playing much. He was hurt, and he wasn't playing much when he was healthy, and he got suspended. Yeah. I think he's chomping at the bit to play, man. We might see a pretty good game from Rashad tomorrow night. I bet he's fired up for this game. I mean, Saturday night. I don't know why I keep saying tomorrow. I'm telling you, Jason, I think Rashad might really be a surprise Saturday night. I think he's going to be fired up for this game. I think you're going to see the best of Rashad Dominion you can see.
And I think that might be a key, too, because if they're queuing on Jaquindon, they're also queuing on Braylon. He's that fast back. I mean, let's face it. We've seen Rashad go out there and run an entire game.
Yeah.
At the end of the season last year, he's able to carry a load. So he's got fresh legs. He's coming in. If this is second game, I think, in Bobby's system, and I think that if they can get him sprung free for a couple, get him some confidence up, boost his confidence a little bit. There's no telling what could happen because let's face it, this year, this Arkansas offense is a power running team. It is not a finesse. This is not an air raid. This is a power running team. I think that's Arkansas's trying to, I know that Bobby's trying to more balance that out, but I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what your identity is, you have got to go in there and make sure that that's what you're pressing upon them, that they cannot stop. And that's what I think the key for Arkansas's offense this week is.
Yeah, there's a lot of keys to this game, and obviously but I think if the running backs have a big game, I think that's a really good sign for Arkansas. I really do, and I think they might. But we'll see. Tennessee's really good against the run. They're really good on defense. They're good on offense. But I think Arkansas is better than OU, and I think Arkansas can surprise some people Saturday night. I mean, they're already writing the obituary. Look, I had a guy tell me today, that Jerry's been drinking the Kool-Aid by picking Arkansas to beat Tennessee. I said, yeah, but nobody thought Kentucky would beat
Ole Miss last
weekend. Nobody.
Yeah, nobody did.
So, I think you said it might be a close game or something. Yes. You said that, and I said, no, I think Ole Miss will blow them out. So, but really, the national people, nobody was picking OU. I mean, Kentucky to go to Ole Miss and win, and they did. And it would be no more of an upset for Arkansas to beat Tennessee than it was for Kentucky to beat Ole Miss in Oxford. I mean, because Arkansas's at home. Yeah. Kentucky was at Oxford. And so I don't know. I just – it doesn't have to be a blowout is what I'm saying. It does not have to be one. Arkansas can play with them.
Arkansas just got to be 1 point better than them. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and we'll see. I'm not picking Arkansas to beat them. I picked Tennessee, I think 31-21. But there's stranger things. That's why you play the game. But I don't think it would be the upset that as bad to the degree that a lot of people are making it out to be, because I just don't. I think Arkansas is better than what people think. Bye-bye, man.
So you talked about weird stuff. Well, let's talk about the weird stuff for just a second.
Going by.
Arkansas had one fake punt, which was executed eloquently. And then they had a fake field goal, which was not executed eloquently at all.
They telegraphed that thing, man. They telegraphed that fake field goal. they really telegraphed. They called the timeout. I know they called the timeout because the clock was running down, but I wanted them to kick there. I wanted them to kick that field goal because if they had, and if he'd have made it, don't know if he would have made it, but if he had, there at the end, it would have been 21-20. Arkansas would have only needed a field goal to win the game, that last drive. And instead, they were going to have to get in the end zone. But if they'd have kicked the field goal, it had been good. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Kyle Ramsey would have been 3 for 3 on the day and Arkansas would have beaten them. But if that had happened, they would have. And that's why I didn't like – I felt like they telegraphed that fake field. The fake punt was beautifully executed.
Yeah.
Nobody was looking for it, and they pulled it off. But the fake field goal, they called time, and just – I think everybody in the stadium was expecting that, and that's what happened, and it got stuck. So I wasn't impressed with that. I wish they'd went ahead and took the field goal. Even if nothing else, if they'd have took the 5-yard penalty and not wasted a time out there and punted, I could have lived with that.
About where there's just weird shit that happens at Texas, with Texas A&M at Jerry World. That was prime case in point. Now, I don't know how that's going to work whenever we move forward and we're starting to have home and homes with A&M, because let's face it, folks, it's not going to come back to Jerry World anytime soon. It's not.
They're finished with that series.
I think so too.
And I think they're wanting to, I'm pretty sure they're wanting to get out of that Little Rock game. And it would be a slap in the face to Little Rock people if they went ahead and played any games. I've seen people suggest they play the old Southwest Conference teams like, TCU but some of the teams in the Jerry's World alternated between old SEC. But I don't think you'll see it, because if you do that and then you pull the Little Rock game, rightfully so, some Little Rock people are going to be very upset with them, So I think what you're going to see is Arkansas will play Arkansas State and Little Rock next year, and I think that'll probably be it for Little Rock. I don't know that, but that's my guess. Now, if that game turns out some way and everybody pressure to continue to play that, maybe so. But I think you've seen the end of Jerry's World games. I don't think you'll see that anymore.
All right, everybody. So we teased a little bit of it at the first of the show. So this time is a look at the SEC today. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the slate of SEC games that will be happening this weekend. There are going to be 6 games. There's one game in particular that we're going to go over here in a bit. I'm going to save that for next to last because it's a little juicy. Down in the Sunshine State, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. So let's, without any further ado, probably the best game on the SEC slate this weekend is Missouri at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is actually a 2.5-point favorite over the number 9 Missouri Tigers. Yeah. Missouri, for once, under Eli Drinkowitz, I was looking at this. Brady Cook has got 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 900, and looks like 46 yards. This Missouri team is a power running team. You don't usually put those two things together, Eli Drinkowitz, power running, but this year they are.
Yeah, they've been fortunate to win. They were fortunate to beat Vanderbilt, and it's going to be – I'm looking forward – because I've sat here and said I think Missouri may not be as good as we thought they were. A lot of that's based off the Vanderbilt game and maybe another game. I think it was another game there. They were a little bit closer than – it was thought it would be, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they do against A&M. See how I'm looking at both teams. See if A&M is as good on defense as they appeared to be, and also Missouri. Just see, are they real or are they overrated? That's going to be a very, very interesting game at 11 o'clock. I'm actually looking forward to watching that before I head over to the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope Georgia just stomps Auburn and Hugh Sleeves.
Also with the defensive line and how they played against Arkansas last week, I think this is going to be Missouri's toughest test running the ball.
Yeah,
and I think that's where that's where I think you honestly have the 2.5-point favorite. At Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think I don't know who will win that. Did you pick A&M today?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry. I usually read Jason's stuff, nothing else, just to prove it, but I had to be out of town today. I had to hit the road, and so I didn't get to read anything today. I got up early and threw my story up and threw Jason's story up and took off, but got back about 3. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm going to watch that before I head to the Hill.
So next game on the slate is Georgia hosting Auburn.
Auburn actually gets to leave their stadium. My God, 6th game of the season, and they're finally going away from home for the first time.
Well, unfortunately, the thing is, though, is that, they are traveling, between the hedges there at Sanford Stadium. And Georgia's a 22.5-point favorite. You're going to see Peyton Thorne. I don't think you're going to see Hank Brown unless Peyton Thorne gets hurt or something. So basically a blowout. But
I hope it is. I hope it's a blowout.
With the way that Georgia played last week at Alabama, I really kind of anticipate that they might have a little bit of a slow start, a little bit of a hangover after. They only led 13 seconds in that Alabama game because after Ryan Williams catches that 75-yard touchdown and goes down the right side of the field after a crazy catch. But Auburn, I think, might have a little bit in the tank to maybe stay with Georgia a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think the Bulldogs are going to run them out of town.
I hope to run the score up on them. I really do. I want to see who Freeze throws under the bus next week.
He's made quite a ordeal of that because it seems like every week that they lose, it's always somebody else's fault.
Oh, it's always somebody else's fault.
It's never his.
Never Hugh Sleeves' fault. Never is. Yeah.
All right. So next, this is an interesting one. It's Ole Miss at South Carolina. Ole Miss has given South Carolina 9 points. You can see that at 2:30 on ESPN. I want to see how Ole Miss, their offense, responds because, listen, South Carolina went in there and smoked Kentucky at Kentucky. Kentucky goes to Ole Miss and wins a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
So I think that there might be some interesting things happen as far as offensively.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think Ole Miss is going to come away with the win.
I think they do. I really do. I'm not impressed with South Carolina, but we'll see, Jason. As you said, they beat Kentucky and Kentucky beat them. I'm not overly impressed with Ole Miss. They've played a really, really easy schedule as they do each year, and they play somebody decent and they got beat. I'm not sold on Ole Miss at all. I'm not sold on South Carolina. Arkansas doesn't play South Carolina. They do play Ole Miss later in the year, and I think Arkansas will beat them.
I'm gonna look at something. I just caught this, y'all. I'm gonna read this line off to you for just a second because this one really caught my eye. Hold on, I'm having to double check this because this is ridiculous. Trey Harris has got 49 receptions this year, 804 yards. Jackson Dart's thrown for 1,800 yards already this season. And then Henry Parrish Jr.'s ran for 489. 49 receptions through 5 games?
Look at that leading tackler, Chris Paul Jr. Pooh is tearing it up down there, man.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, can you put it back on Ole Miss's schedule for just a second?
Yeah,
They have not played anybody,
No,
man.
They haven't. Honestly, they really haven't.
Well,
No.
Kentucky, but they beat Furman, Middle Tennessee State, Wake Forest, and Georgia Southern. They're just not playing teams. They play these cupcakes every year. They come to Fayetteville 2 years ago. What, were they undefeated or only have one loss at the time? And Arkansas just smoked them,
ran them out of town.
Yeah, they got South Carolina this week, got LSU next week, and then they got OU. See, I'm not sold on OU either. But it's going to get tougher for Ole Miss. We're going to see the real Ole Miss probably starting Saturday. Well, we didn't see them against Kentucky, but it'll be interesting how they play South Carolina. It's going to be an interesting game, Jason.
It is.
That's going to be an interesting game from the whole standpoint of who's real, who's overrated, who's legit. Okay. Well, thanks. I wanted to see that because I didn't think they had played anybody, and they haven't, except Kentucky.
And Williams-Brice Stadium can get pretty damn loud too. So, if it's a close contest, I'm telling you, I think that Ole Miss might have a little bit of problems, but I honestly think that at the end, I think they're going to come away with the win.
I think they beat South Carolina. I really do, but it could be tougher than we think.
It might be a game that comes in down to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's not going to be something that might be over after
that
the first or second
me at all.
So you've got Alabama traveling to Vanderbilt, and that's a huge emotional win that they had last Saturday night with, intercepting freshman intercepting the ball in the end zone to win the game. They led all but 13 seconds of that game, as we talked about just a little bit ago.
I think Alabama will have a letdown this week. Obviously, just human nature. I think you'll see a letdown, but I think they'll have plenty in the tank to beat Vanderbilt. I just wonder if Vanderbilt's going to be a little bit fired up this game with Nick Saban saying that trash in their stadium. I know Nick's not at Alabama now, but But you still relate that Nick Saban to Alabama. He kind of trashed Vanderbilt's place to play. I'm just wondering if Vanderbilt's going to show him that maybe it is a hard place to play,
Yeah.
Because he made comments that Alabama had more fans there than him. And the truth is, Nick was probably telling the truth. But I'm just saying that Vanderbilt may be fired up for them. I don't think it'll matter because they can't match them talent-wise. You can be fired up, and that'll only get you so much. But I do think Alabama will play. I think Alabama, we're talking about slow starts. I think Alabama could get off to a slow start in that game. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of a hangover after you beat Georgia like they did.
It has to. I know that there's that Alabama comes in as a 22.5-point favorite.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that they cover it.
Well, if they do, it'll probably be in the second half. I mean, they could, in the second half. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So let's see here. Next. Okay, this is the next to last one. So this is. I wrote about this and I expanded on it quite a bit. And there was a reason why, because there's some 3 degrees of separation. You got UCF going to Florida. I actually put hosting. UCF was hosting. I messed that up in the article. And that was my fault on that one.
All right. Worst thing. It's just the worst thing that's ever going to happen.
There is a 3 degrees of separation with the Arkansas contingent in Florida this weekend. Now you've got Gus Malzahn coaching UCF with KJ Jefferson as a quarterback. KJ goes down to Florida last year, gets the gets a road victory, first time in God knows how long.
First time they've ever beaten Florida in the swamp.
In the swamp.
First time ever.
With Kenny Guyton as offensive coordinator, because Dan Enos, which is now a quality assistant on the offense for Florida, just got fired the previous week before that.
No wonder Florida's struggling.
And so you have all of these intricacies that deal with Arkansas in this game down in the Sunshine State. And I talked about this too, because Florida translates as a flowers, pretty, something, easy on the eyes. And they're called the Sunshine State. They adopted that back in 1970. There's not going to be a lot of flowers or sunshine in this game for Florida. I think that UCF goes in there. They're a 2.5-point favorite, and I think that they smoke the Gators, and I think we're going to be on Billy Napier watch again.
I'm going to tell you, if UCF wins, especially if they smoke them, but if they just win, I think that I think that could be the it for Napier. I really do. I think they've been waiting for him to lose again. If he loses UCF at home, I don't think he can survive that, Jason. I really don't. I mean, even a close loss, but if he gets smoked, I don't think there's much question. But I don't know if Florida wants to make a change right now. But if they lose at home to UCF and get beat pretty bad, I don't see if they got any choice but to fire him this week. I
thought it was going to happen on their bye week last week, but it didn't happen.
Well, they win or something, or
yeah, they beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, they beat Mississippi State. So I mean,
it was 45-28.
If they'd lost that game, probably would have happened on the bye week. But man, I don't know. I hope if it's KJ and Gus against Dan Enos, I'll take Gus and KJ 100 out of 100 times, every time, and then twice on Sunday, man. Whatever.
So. If KJ does win, he'll be 2-0 in the swamp, which I think is, or actually no, he's 2-1 because he didn't play his freshman year, so he would be 2-0 in the swamp. So that'd be kind of that's a crazy
good
step.
KJ, good for him. I like KJ.
All right, so you got Arkansas, Tennessee, 6:30 on ABC, also on ESPN Plus primetime game. You've got Tennessee coming in as a 13.5-point favorite. We've talked about this at length. Arkansas, if they limit the turnovers, if they take care of the ball and make sure that they do not put it on the ground, I think that they might have a chance again. Listen, I know Arkansas is going to score points on this. I know that Arkansas is not going to go out there and put up 10 points, 13 points. The offense is too potent, but it's the defensive secondary. If they can keep Nico in check, they might have a chance.
I think Arkansas definitely got a chance against Tennessee. I'm not picking Arkansas, so don't come out with the Kool-Aid crap. I'm not picking Arkansas. But look, like I said, these people saying they have no chance. It's the same people that said that none of them would have picked Kentucky to go to Ole Miss. And Arkansas's at home. Arkansas's at home. Kentucky went to Oxford. Arkansas's at home. It's a night game.
Yep.
And, Arkansas's going to have the crowd behind them, a packed house probably, and loud. And
first night game of the season, too.
Well, the second night game. People keep saying the first. I've heard that 2 or 3 times from various people, but they played UAPB at night.
Yeah.
So it's the second night. I saw a lot of people. Somebody wrote that this week. Wasn't anybody at our place, but somebody else wrote the first night game of the season. And I saw that, and I'm thinking, did you forget about that drive home from UA from Little Rock? So it's the second night game. But but Arkansas, all we've made about them playing 5 games in 5 different stadiums, but that's over with. You've got 7 games left, and 5 of them are in Fayetteville. So it works both ways. Auburn has been home, and Missouri's been home every week. Now they've got to go on the road.
Yeah,
Auburn and Missouri have been home every week, and now they're going to be on the road. So it evens out in the end. And Arkansas now it's got to, especially if they could just come out of this 4-1 and in all these home games, but they've got to play well at home. Just being home doesn't mean anything. We found that out last year when they got beat all those games. Being home doesn't mean anything if you can't take care of your home field. But if Arkansas can, they've got a bunch of home games now. Yeah, these are tough teams.
Yeah, but
you're in the SEC. It's going to be tough. Nobody said it's going to be tacos and candy and pizza and all that. It's going to be tough games, people. I mean, you're in the SEC. Yeah. It don't matter if you win ugly, you win pretty. Ugly win is a lot better than a pretty, playing great and losing.
Exactly.
You got to find a way to win. And Arkansas could beat Tennessee. I don't think they will, but they could. But I'd love to see what happens if Arkansas goes out there Saturday and plays a clean game with no turnovers, limit the penalties. They're going to have some, but limit the penalties and don't turn the ball over against Tennessee. And I think big things could happen. I really do. I don't think it'd be the upset that a lot of people seem to think it would be. I think Arkansas could beat them. But why? My deal is, why do I think they're going to play a clean game Saturday night when they haven't been playing clean games? It's easy to sit here, you and I, to say they need to play a clean game, and they're going to. But until they do it, we ain't seen them do it. So I have no expectation there'll be a clean game Saturday night. If they don't, it could get ugly. Tennessee's the best team they play.
Yep, they are. And I want to throw this out there for the folks at betting at home. Arkansas has not covered at home in 7 straight games now. So wow. if you're on the betting side of this, I would bet against that. I would not go. I just I don't know. We'll see. Again, like Herm Edwards said, this is why you play the game.
Exactly. I mean, it's not so simple just to say that Kentucky's great. I mean, Tennessee's great. They're going to win the game Saturday night. They should, but that's why you play the game. That's exactly right. And it's that simple, man. You play the game for a reason. And Arkansas is not a bad football team. People argue with me all year on that, but they're not a bad football team. They've beaten themselves. They should be 4-1 and could be 5-0 right now.
Yep.
They should be 4-1. They should have beaten Oklahoma State. I mean, there is zero reason to not beat Oklahoma State. Zero excuse for not winning that game.
All right, so we're here at the 2-minute warning here towards the end of the show.
Come out.
I want to go over a couple of things that I have seen. One, you've got Barry Odom and UNLV after that debacle with the quarterback. They're in the top 25 now. You've got Missouri, they're at 9. Also, the one that I was really surprised at was that Illinois stayed in the top 25. I still can't believe that.
Did they lose?
I don't know. I think, yes, they did. They lost to Penn State.
Good.
They lost to Penn State. So I was watching the end of that. They were in it at the very end, but they ended up falling.
And when I say good, I'm not talking about Grant Morgan or Barry Lundy Jr. or Kevin Richardson. I love those guys, but I don't like Brett, and I'm glad he lost. I'm sorry. I don't like the guy. He didn't like me, and I don't like him. I mean, we're even.
Man, we're going to have to unpack that one day because I got a trifecta with Brett Bielema, Hugh Freeze, and Eli Drinkwitz. Yeah. Your head might explode, so we might have to take
I don't like
that
either
one.
of the 3 of those guys.
All right, so this last part of the 2-minute warning, I want you, and this is kind of a little bit of a left turn for you, but I want you to give me a preview of what we can expect from the Los Angeles Lakers this season, because I think it's a very unique dichotomy with Bronny and LeBron on the same team.
Yeah. I think you see J.J. Redick, they're going to be a lot more organized than they were last year. The players are excited to play. They weren't last year. I love JJ. I was sick when I got woke up to two of my friends texted me saying that they were going to hire the coach from UConn, Dan Hurley. I was sick because I wanted JJ. And I'm not saying anything bad about Hurley at all. I think he's a great coach, but I wanted JJ. I just think that, if they get people healthy and everything, and I think they got a chance to be a decent team. I don't know if they'll win it. Obviously they're not the favorites. They shouldn't be. But, when you've got two of the best players in the NBA, you've always got a chance. And I do like that they've got Austin and D'Lo and Rui back from last year.
Yeah.
I like the team. I'm anxious to see them tomorrow night. The exhibition games don't mean anything because it'll be everybody playing, especially the first one. You've got camp guys that's on camp contracts. They're going to play them probably some, but
I think Dalton Connect is going to make a valuable
I
impact to that team.
I put on Facebook today. I woke the neighbors up when they drafted him, man. When he fell to that spot, 17th, and I'm sitting there holding my breath that he'd fall there because last year everybody I wanted went like 13, 14, 15, 16, and then we got Jalen Hood-Schifino, who I like. But when Connect fell, and then they announced that our Lakers had taken him, I yelled so loud. I'm sure I woke up, because I live in an old neighborhood, man. And a lot of these people probably sleeping, man. They may not be able to hear me, thank God, because they're probably hard of hearing like me. But I probably woke the neighbors up on that. I was tickled to death, man. I love Dalton Connect. I like Bronny, man. I really do. 57th, 58th pick. I mean, you've been pretty high on. You ain't going. Hell, man, when you can't name anybody drafted that low, So I mean, give me a break. I loved that pick. I loved it, but I love Dalton. See, I think Connect's Bronny's probably not going to help much this year, if at all. But Dalton will help. I mean, he's, JJ season top 1% of shooters. Yeah, I mean, when you can shoot in this NBA nowadays, you can play because that's what the new NBA is all about, man. You see 7-foot centers out there shooting threes. Karl Anthony Towns, those guys are out there jacking up threes, man. I mean, these are big guys. Used to they be put on the block and stay there, but not anymore. Everybody's shooting threes. And when you get a guy like Connect that can really shoot, you got to go with mine there. And he wasn't drafted higher because of his age. People didn't want to take him because his upside might not be as much as a younger guy. Because that's what the Lakers want. They want the guy ready to play with LeBron right now, not somebody 4 years down the road. They got what they wanted. They wanted somebody instant help, and they got somebody, I think, in Dalton Connect. I think he got the best player in the draft for that purpose. I wouldn't trade him for anybody. I wouldn't trade him for any one of the French guys that was drafted 1 or 2. I would not trade him for anybody who's drafted in the draft. I would not. He averaged 20-something points and 20 points or so in the summer league and didn't even make the second team all-summer league NBA team. That's a joke. But anyway, I like Connect.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining in tonight. Yep. We've been here live at Torchies and Rogers. We'll be live in Torchies in Fayetteville at 4:30 on Saturday with myself and Marshall Foreman for the Arkansas Arkansas pregame show hosted and presented by Torchies Tacos with Hogville.net. So be sure to check us out next Saturday. You can come have some tacos with us, talk some football with Marshall. Jump on the YouTube channel as well. It's all of our content is free, so anytime you want to check it out, it's always there at your fingertips. So for myself,
how long does a pregame last, Jason?
We do for an hour, so we'll go from 4:30 to 5:30.
Okay,
and then he's got to get out of there, and I got to get out of there as well, and try to find some traffic because by that time it gets a little hairy.
I imagine it does,
because it's right down the road from Razorback Stadium. So. Myself and Otis, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight here live at Torchies, and go Hogs.
Thanks, people. Appreciate all of you.